We are tracking Invest 90L live with chances of it becoming Tropical Storm Arthur this weekend. Fortunately for us, though, not a threat to the United States. That doesn't mean Florida won't see rain. Already seeing rain with more of it ahead over the next 48 hours. Hey there, everybody. JB Buno here with you live in our hurricane headquarters here. Of course, joined by meteorologist Amanda Holly on the right side of your screen. We've been monitoring Invest 90L over the last 48 hours. Could it become Tropical Storm Arthur? Regardless, name, no name, Amanda. We're talking about a storm that's mostly going to remain in the Atlantic, though dumping rain on portions of Florida as we speak.
That's exactly right. We're already seeing the impacts that we're going to see from this system, regardless if it gets a name or not. Of course, if it does, it will be named Arthur, and it is likely to become Arthur. But at this point, the National Hurricane Center hasn't really seen any better organization today. That's why they're keeping that chance of development here at about an 80% for the next 2 days and an 80% for the next 5 days. But they're saying it will likely become a tropical or subtropical storm on Saturday. Regardless, we're still going to be seeing the rain here in South Florida. We've actually seen some good showers along the west coast as well, but the biggest impacts occurring right now along the Treasure Coast and in the upper Keys at this point. And you can see this red shaded box here. That's the area where there's where the environment is favorable for that strengthening and that organization. So right now it's still just an area of some showers and thunderstorms and then some gusty winds as well in South Florida. That's what we're seeing. That's what we've been seeing since yesterday, and that's what we're going to continue to see today. Now, it is being called Invest 90L now, and that's because, well, we're getting those spaghetti plots that everybody likes to see, and they're in good agreement, guys. That is going to make its way out into the western Atlantic, just off the east coast of Florida here, and continue to do so, making its way farther out into the Atlantic, kind of hugging the eastern coastline here. But at this point, as the storm kind of makes its way toward the Carolina coastline, if you will, near the Outer Banks, we may not even be looking at a tropical or subtropical storm. It really just depends on those characteristics. But the GFS and the European model, they also both agree that it is going to make its way, emerge north of the Bahamas, and this is where it could, again, be named Arthur. Whether it's subtropical or tropical really doesn't matter for us in terms of the impacts, if you will. But it's going to continue to make its way toward the north and the east. There is some discrepancy here. There's going to be a frontal boundary that's going to be approaching, and it may be interacting with that. It may get absorbed into that frontal boundary, and it may sweep out to sea. But again, regardless, we're already seeing the impacts. We have been since yesterday. This is the radar loop from the past 6 hours. You can see the upper Keys here still getting those showers and thunderstorms. The Treasure Coast down through South Florida and into Miami, they're seeing the rain as well. Heavy at times, but broken showers and thunderstorms. And the west coast of Florida, this is south of the Tampa Bay area, seeing some showers and thunderstorms starting to pop up today as well. But all of this, as I said yesterday, much needed rain. We do have the gusty winds embedded within there as well, but we're actually not seeing as much rain as we did yesterday. But again, nothing organized at this point, just some showers and thunderstorms. This area of moisture going to continue to make its way off to the north and the east as it emerges just north of the Bahamas there tomorrow morning, maybe to early tomorrow afternoon. That's when we could see that name pop up of Arthur. But for the west coast of Florida, again, when you're on the western side of these systems, it pulls in some drier air. So we'll likely be drying out. Can't rule out a few showers for the west coast of Florida tomorrow on Saturday, but the east coast of Florida still seeing some outer impacts, some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms, maybe some gusty winds, if you will. But by Sunday, it's going to be out in the western Atlantic, and most of Florida really should be dry. That's when we're going to be watching it making its way toward the Outer Banks. Now, in between now and Monday, this is Monday afternoon, we are going to be having some pretty high seas, dangerous seas, rip currents along the east coast, because even though this is not a very strong system, it's kind of spreading out its energy in terms of those waves, and they will be reaching the eastern coast of the United States. So we're looking at some rip currents, higher seas, and some higher surf as well for the eastern coast, mid-Atlantic states here. But there's that front that I was talking about earlier. Now, whether this system tries to merge with that area of low pressure in this frontal boundary or that front kind of sweeps it out to sea doesn't really matter at this point. The Outer Banks will get the chance for some showers, but then we're going to keep the chance for showers in the southeast because of that front starting to approach. In terms of the impacts from Invest 90L potential Arthur here, we're looking at rain in South Florida right now, and that's going to be pulling away heading into tomorrow. In terms of the amount of rain that we're going to see compared to what has already fallen, maybe right along the Treasure Coast there, 1.5 to 2 inches. But overall, you can see that rainfall amount coming down because that system is really going to be pulling away over the next 36 hours. So that's good news for us. Now, if you're just joining us, this is what we're talking about, the latest developments here with that potential tropical, subtropical system that we'll be developing. This is Invest 90L, it's being called now because we have forecast models, those spaghetti plots, and they all take it out into the western Atlantic here. But this is what it looks like. Nothing organized at this point. These are the clouds that we're looking at right now. We have some higher, colder cloud tops there, but otherwise an area of some showers and thunderstorms. The National Hurricane Center still keeping an 80% chance of developing over the next 2 days and the next 5 days, and it will have the best chance of developing as it emerges into this red circle here. This is in the northern Bahamas and just north of those Bahama Islands as well. And if we see a name, JB, it will be called Arthur. That's the first name of the 2020 list of names.
Amanda Holly, everybody here with us in our hurricane headquarters. Hey there, Amanda. So when we're talking about winds, we haven't really talked much about winds with Invest 90L. We're seeing some comments here. What are the wind speeds going to look like, and could we feel any wind gust impacts here on the east coast of Florida?
East Coast, West Coast, both of us, we've all been feeling really gusty winds this whole week. And that's thanks to something completely different. There's an area of high pressure in the western Atlantic. It's unusually strong for this time of year, and it was sending us some really breezy conditions over the past couple of days. But in terms of this system, we're not really going to see anything more than that. It's not an organized system. Could we see a gust in the 30s? Yes, but we've seen that this week already. So not surprising to see a gust in the upper 30s. But I'm not expecting sustained winds, tropical storm force at this time.
And when we're talking about the rain, everybody, we're talking about, of course, Floridians know this well. We sorely need rain. When you're talking about the Gulf Coast side of Florida, Amanda, we're talking about maybe you said a few spot-up showers, but there are some areas here in the Tampa Bay area and on the Gulf Coast side of Florida that desperately needs rain. So you're saying that we might not actually get as much rain here on this side of Florida. And there are people in the comment section that are reacting to that as bad news because they want to see some precipitation in our area.
I mean, in all of our newscasts this whole week, we've been talking about the wildfires across the entire state. We've had significant wildfires up in the Panhandle. There are some major fires burning right now in the Everglades as well. Highways have been shut down, so we need the rain. Parts of Florida, most of Florida at this point is at least considered abnormally dry, if not in a drought, a moderate drought or a severe drought. The southern portion of Florida here, if I step back, this area near the Everglades, just south of that Alligator Alley, if you will, 75 corridor, they're in a big drought at this point. So we could use all the rain that we can get, even if there's a little bit of wind associated with it. All
right, everybody, we are going to open up the live Q&A portion here where we take your questions out of the Facebook Live comment section. You see that the hashtags there on each of our respective boxes here on the left and right side of your screens. You see hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyAmanda. Some of the questions are already coming in here, everybody. We want to give some shout outs to those of you who are joining us here in the Facebook Live comment section. I see you, Judy Roberts from Kentucky, joining us here on Tracking the Tropics. Stacy Goldstein, hashtag HeyJB. She wants to know how bad the weather is going to be in Broward County. Broward County, of course, being right down there in South Florida, not too far away from Miami. So she's asking Amanda about Broward County.
Well, if you're in Broward County, if you've been in Broward County for the past 24 hours, that's what you're going to get. We've been seeing the rain and a little bit of some gusty winds at times, but that's it. We may continue that for the next 12 to 24 hours until this system emerges into this red circle here. But otherwise, you're looking at it. Some rain and some winds, not a whole lot. This system is not anything like what we'll potentially see as we head into the later portions of the hurricane season.
What would you say for the people that are asking about in the comment section, Amanda, about the chances that it becomes Arthur this weekend, even though it's really just for naming purposes and likely won't be anything that we have to keep too close of an eye on as it moves out towards the Atlantic? What are the odds, would you say, about it becoming Tropical Storm Arthur to kick off the 2020 hurricane season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing with the National Hurricane Center here. Given it an 80% chance of developing, it does have good environmental conditions to develop only in this area right here. We've got the warm sea surface temperatures of the Gulf Stream right here off the east coast of Florida. That's going to aid in it a little bit. It's already sitting over those warmer waters. You know, we've got the stalled frontal boundary there that's kind of washed out at this point, but it's a good chance. I mean, all of the models are suggesting we'll likely see some form of tropical storm, subtropical storm form here in the next 24 to 36 hours.
Benita Sunshine in the comment section, hashtag HeyJB. She's in Venice and says that her forecasts are showing her 10% rain on Saturday, but we're showing all of this moisture here in Florida. What do we tell to Benita in Venice, who's a little bit confused and puzzled by the forecast that we're showing here and some of the other forecast models that are out there?
I'll show you right here. So this is what we're looking at. This is one of our longer range forecasts, so it's not as high resolution. So those small, tiny showers don't get depicted as well. It just kind of depicts it as a big blob of moisture here. But as we go into tonight, we're seeing those showers right now in Venice at this point. But as we go into tonight and into tomorrow, it's really going to take all of that moisture with it. And we could still see some showers along the east coast of Florida. But when we look at systems, the west side of the system has a northerly breeze, and we're going to be looking at some drier air being filtered in. Tomorrow, we could see a couple of isolated showers pass by, but I'm not expecting widespread rain for the first half of our weekend, or the second for that matter.
The last two comments we have from Paul Bachman, hashtag HeyJB. What about Pinellas Park getting impacted by rains or winds? Amanda?
Tonight, we will keep a stray shower in the forecast here, not expecting a lot of rain, and same goes for tomorrow. Just a 10, maybe 20% chance for a passing shower. Again, the western side of this storm is going to be on the drier side. You can see it right here. This is Saturday morning at 11 a.m., what most of the forecast models are suggesting. Some isolated showers lingering on the west coast, or excuse me, the east coast there, but the west coast, largely dry, maybe a mixture of sun and clouds. Temperatures tomorrow are going to be very warm for the west coast of Florida because our winds aren't going to be as breezy tomorrow. So we could be approaching 90.
And the final comment we're going to take here from Francis Sanders in the comment section, asking about Louisiana. Amanda, what about the states a little bit more to our west on the other side of the Gulf Coast, talking about Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana? Could some of those states feel some impact?
Absolutely no impacts will be felt along the deep south here for Invest 90L. Now, I mentioned that front that is going to kind of sweep this out to sea. That's coming in. You guys will be seeing rain in Louisiana probably starting early tomorrow morning, maybe late Saturday. That's when you'll likely be seeing some rain from that front, but that has nothing to do with Invest 90L.
Invest 90L will continue to keep our eyes on it, whether or not it becomes Tropical Storm Arthur or not. Again, 80% chance of development, everybody, according to our meteorologist Amanda Holly here on Tracking the Tropics. That doesn't really make a difference as to whether or not we're going to be feeling significant impacts or not. The rain is what it is, based on, of course, what we've been talking about the last 72 hours here on Tracking the Tropics. But really, by the time that this becomes Arthur, more than likely we're talking about it getting into the Atlantic to kick off hurricane season 2020, with perhaps the first named storm coming in May, in the midsection of May. Again, hurricane season, Amanda and I talk about all the time, doesn't start till June 1st, but Tracking the Tropics, we never stop our work. We're going all year long, everybody, keeping our eye on the tropics. Any final thoughts here, Amanda, before we sign off?
No, just, as we go into this weekend, just remember this system's going to be pulling away. So impacts will be weakening and lessening in South Florida, and our weather will be improving.
Everybody, follow Amanda Holly, meteorologist Amanda Holly, on Facebook and Twitter for the very latest, and whatever station you're watching on, whether it be an app, a website, a social media platform, we're going to be here for you. Tracking the Tropics goes on as long as the tropics has something worth talking about. We're here to keep you educated, alert, aware, with good information, good forecast models from the National Hurricane Center, from all of our meteorologists, their expertise, countless months and years of collaboration goes into this, everybody. So we're really looking forward to presenting you with reliable models, reliable information over the course of the 2020 hurricane season. For meteorologist Amanda Holly, I'm JB Buno here in your hurricane headquarters. Thanks for being with us. To everybody out there, have a great and safe weekend, and we'll be back on Tracking the Tropics. Thanks for watching, everybody.